I suggest that you repeat that as we just came online?
Yep.
After the motion was made and seconded.
Okay, we're just online, so we have a first and a second for approval of the agenda. First by Dave, second by Jason. All those in favor, please indicate by stating yes.
Yes.
Opposed to no. We've got an agenda. Please stand, remove cover, and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 4 is informational reports. We have planning and zoning minutes from April 26th. The library minutes and the most recent MUB minutes are included in the packet and are available online. Item 5 is announcements and praise. I'd like to take a moment and praise our Heavenly Father. If you'd like to join me in prayer. Sovereign Lord, we thank you for all the blessings we have. We thank you for the moisture we got here in our area. We need it so bad. You're the same before, now, and forever. And for that, we appreciate you making us a path. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Item 5 written on the agenda is the Life Saving Award. And I'm going to bring up the chief. He's going to take over from here. We've got a microphone, I think, even, Chief, I believe, if we're high-tech enough. So
I'm going to have Sean Fisher come up here with me, too.
Yep. Thanks, Sean.
I'm going to read a synopsis of the events for this life-saving award here. The early morning hours of March 16th of 2022 at approximately 1:35 a.m., a 911 emergency call came in to our Meade County Dispatch from a Margaret Denton, who resides at a residence here in Sturgis. Mrs. Denton was needing an ambulance for her husband, Mr. Steve Denton, who was having chest pains. Sturgis police officers, Sergeant Dylan Cisco and Officer Beth Bashan, with the assistance of Meade County Sergeant John Tisch, were dispatched to the residence, and the Sturgis Ambulance Service was paged. Dispatch advised Mr. Denton had stopped breathing and officers needed to expedite. Officers arrived moments later with their AED and found Mr. Denton without a pulse on the bed in the bedroom. Officers utilized their AED and administered a shock to Mr. Denton. They then moved him to the floor to begin CPR. CPR was continued till the ambulance crew arrived approximately 3 minutes after the officers. The ambulance crew assumed care of the patient and utilized the Lucas device to continue CPR. Additional shocks were delivered along with advanced drugs as they loaded Mr. Denton into the ambulance. After the fourth shock was delivered, they were able to regain a pulse. Mr. Denton was transported to the hospital while the ambulance crew continued to breathe for him until he regained consciousness and was able to breathe on his own. If it weren't for the actions of the first responders who were involved, we don't believe Mr. Denton would have been here today. I'm going to turn it over to Sean, see if she's got anything she wants to add.
I don't think any of us realize the importance of the AEDs that the police officers have. Their chance of survival, anyone's chance of survival, decreases 10% for every minute someone's not defibrillated. The meds that our crew carries and the skills that our paramedics have are second to none. Without those, I can't say a cardiac arrest would ever be saved. So I would like to congratulate all the first responders and thank them for everything they do.
Right now, if I can get the EMTs and then the officers and deputies that were on scene to come up here. Can you open this up? When a life saved, we give them this award. I'm going to kind of read you the life-saving award. The greatest service to mankind is saving of human life. The above-named individual with presence of mind, prompt action, and genuine concern for fellow man did perform the service on the date specified. All members of this department and community join in sincere gratitude. Dated March 17, 2022. This is for, Sergeant John Tisch with the Meade County Sheriff's Department. Officer Beth Bashan, she wasn't able to be here. And then last but not least, Sergeant Dylan Cisco.
for paramedic Stephanie Jinks. And paramedic Charles Seifrid.
Get you guys up here, Deb, and Gary's going to want pictures. I also wanted to point out that Mr. and Mrs. Denton are in the audience. We're going to go outside. They didn't want to come up and talk in front of people, which I don't blame them. So we're going to go outside, and they'd like to meet the officers, but they are truly appreciative of all the actions of everybody up here, and I just want to make sure to relay that for them. So thank you. Sheriff Merwin, do you want to get in here?
I would also like to thank Anna Madsen, the dispatcher. She did a great job.
Pretty awesome stuff for sure. Also included in the packet is EMS Week proclamation and the EMS Week schedule. I'd like to take a moment and read the proclamation. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas emergency medical services has grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventative medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. Whereas emergency medical services systems consist of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. And whereas the members of emergency medical service teams, whether career or voluntary, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical services of the emergency medical service providers by designating Emergency Medical Service Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mark Carstensen, the Mayor of the City of Sturgis, in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 15th through the 22nd, 2022, as Emergency Medical Services Week. So Sean's done this a lot, does a lot of great activities throughout the community. Obviously, we just talked about the importance of having the right people and the right equipment to make a difference in our community. So Sean, I'll turn it over to you if you want to talk the schedule and say some more words.
Okay. This year's EMS Week is going to be extra special. We'll start it on Sunday with a 5K, and auxiliary is doing a pancake feed. That all starts at 9 o'clock up at the station. We're doing a color run or walk, whatever you would like to do. And then on Monday is going to be a very special event. We have our open house from 3 to 6. At 3:30 p.m., we're going to do a ribbon cutting for the SMART program that we are launching here in Sturgis. It will go live June 1st. The Lieutenant Governor is scheduled to be here in appearance for the ribbon cutting. The Governor, if her meetings get changed in Sioux Falls, will also be in attendance. This is huge for Sturgis, as we are the first ambulance service that will be approved by the Medicaid to do this program. The Department of Health launched a grant a year ago. 11 ambulance services have taken advantage of this grant, as we did, to train CHWs. CHWs are community healthcare workers that will fill the gap between providers and their patients. We have patients that cannot get to appointments, that do not understand the equipment they are given, that do not understand the medications. So we are going to fill the gap. We're going to go out to their homes where they feel comfortable. We're going to talk to them, explain the things to them. The doctors will be ordering this. This is going to cut down on readmissions for our hospital, which will help with burnout. And it will cut down on 911s that are just people that have questions that we're sending a whole ambulance out for, that don't want to go to the hospital. They just want us to explain something. So we'd like to invite everyone from the council and our community to be at the station at 3:30 on Monday the 16th for the official ribbon cutting, and to also attend our open house during that time. On Tuesday, we will be doing seatbelt checks at the high school. We'll be giving out Smarties and dummies for the ones that wear their seatbelts and the ones that don't. Everybody gets candy, but just depending on what you do. Wednesday's kids education, we'll be educating the children on prevention of falls and them kind of things and what to do if an emergency does happen. On Thursday is Stop the Bleeding CPR class at the station. It is free for everyone to come and attend at 6 p.m. on Thursday night. And Friday is our multi-agency kickball out at the softball fields. So I will leave invitations over here. I believe you guys all got them this last week in our weekly report. But if anybody would like an invitation or to share them with anybody, we'd be honored to have everyone in attendance at 3:30 on Monday. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks for all you guys do for our community, for sure. I got some notes here just for Arbor Day is next Friday. The plan is to plant a tree at Mead Avenue Park. It has to be dry enough to plant a tree, so if it's too wet, we'll have to adjust that. But that's the tentative plan. Does council have any other items for announcements and praise? Go ahead, Dave.
I'm just going to mention that there's a soccer tournament here May 14th and 15th, and I found out that they've actually got 167 teams participating. So that should be a pretty big impact on the community that weekend.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah. Jeff Smith Memorial Track Meet, which is also quite a bit of activity down there in that neck of the woods. So appreciate all the people that support that. Different weekends. Jeff Smith's this weekend. Yep. Next weekend's the tournaments. Yep. Any other announcements and praise? Item 6 is department head update, and Faye was the one that drew the short straw, so we'll turn it over to you.
Well, and you know how exciting finances is. I'm sure you're all going to be so happy to hear all of this. So try to keep it short and sweet. So just to run through some of my departments or what we do, accounts payable, Joyce Ehlers. Number of checks she wrote in 2021 was 2,531. And of course, that's much lower than it has been over the years since we took on the credit card. And so that number has dropped significantly. Total number of invoices was 8255. Smart data transactions, that is the credit card transactions for the department heads, was 2,337. Joyce takes care of the community garden spots, and there's 74 of those. 1099s, she also takes care of the 1099s, mailed to vendors, and that was 78. Credit cards used for accounts payable, she pays quite a bit off, and that was 1,745,746. We received rewards from those of 19,455. Credit cards used by the departments, that was only $140,064. Vendors that are paid by the credit card, it was 259. Next is Elaine Wolken, Rix Wolken. She is mainly the utility billing. She also does accounts receivable, cemetery, liquor renewals, prints out minutes and puts them in the official book, print out ordinances, hangar leases and insurance, and filing. Her average monthly utility bills are $2,808, and of course that has gone down too because we actually do have some that are paperless. She does the accounts receivable. She has 730 accounts. Liquor licenses, of course, she takes care of all the renewals of the liquor licenses. As of right now, we have 9 liquor licenses, 21 wine licenses, and 45 beer licenses. Service orders completed. This is for utility management. This is how we communicate with Public Works so that they can go out and turn on, turn off, that type of thing. She did 1,455 in 2021. And burials, she takes care of the cemetery, and that's 53. Our next one is Adam. He is the Deputy Finance Officer. He started out with payroll, and then he took over cash receipting, and he does our sales tax payable for us. That's the sales tax that we have to pay, like on the liquor store, cemetery lots. There's several different things we have to pay sales tax on. And then also he takes care of the marketplace. Sales tax paid in 2021, the total was $357,213, and of course most of that is liquor. For salaries for 2021, it was $6,509,272. There's 4,350 checks, which it's not really checks because it's all ACH, but same thing. Employee contributions to the South Dakota retirement was $350,922, and of course that is matched by the employer by Sturgis, and so total was $703,731. There is a supplemental retirement that any employee can be involved with. We paid out $149,992, and then the after Roth, which is a little different, was $43,190, and the city matched that for $62,624. It's a very good supplemental retirement. Is really great, and it's really nice that we do get some match from the city. Payroll liabilities, not going to really run through that. You can just see your Social Security, your Medicare, your federal tax, and then the total, the $1,500,000. So quite a bit of money going out there. And next we have Jen. Jen, of course, is in the process of taking over cash receipting and payroll from Adam, because Adam will start shadowing me more to take over for finance officers in the next few years. She does the P&L for the liquor stores, or helps Daniel with the P&L for liquor stores. She is within the budget process, helps with the budget process. Utility management, she's pretty much fully trained on that also. At first that's what we were going to have her do all, for sure. But I think once Elaine is gone, then we'll hire somebody that will do utility management again. For receipt, with the cash receipting, she has deposited $13,237,911 in 2021. And then myself, just a few things that I do. Monthly bank reconciliation. I partner with the annual budget development lead. I'm the lead on the audit, which we have just gone through. I prepare the annual financial reports that goes to the state. Attend council meetings, of course, and prepare the minutes. And a lot of times I'm just a problem solver. Somebody needs, what do I do here? So I feel like I am a big part of solving problems. Our next one is our express bill pay. We started this, I believe, in 2017 or 2018. I can't remember exactly. But the pie chart, that is just transactions that take place. And these are just, we got it for the utility billing is what we mainly got it for. But it is grown into a lot of different places using it. We have building permits, we have cemetery, ambulance, animal shelter, airport fuel, rally, the vendors, vendor licensing during the rally, contractors licenses, airport hangar lease. So we use it for not just utility management. And then the charts on the right, that is the using of express bill pay the customers. So instead of writing us a check or writing us cash or giving us cash, they are going into express bill pay and paying with a credit card, or they can also pay with a check on express bill pay. And then the paperless, that is the ones that have chosen to become paperless. And just to give you those numbers, total customers we have is 1,235 plus 95 this last 3 months. And then paperless was 427, and then we have another 85 that is paperless this last 3 months. Any questions on that? Okay. And then our final one is just kind of giving you a small snapshot of the audit and the annual report. And the annual report would be what will come next. So in general fund, I have just shown you the revenues and the expenses 2020 compared to 2021, and then the fund balance. Fund balance is just cash in general fund, capital improvements, and then mainly in the liquor fund. The other water, sewer, sanitation, and ambulance fund balance includes their assets, their accounts receivable, your accounts payable, all of that stuff. So that's why it looks much larger. So just to run through kind of why the differences from 20 to 21. 2021, the city received fewer COVID funds than we did in 2020. The city transferred funds to the ambulance service for 1 new ambulance, 1 new remount, and we also purchased heritage marks and we canceled the SMRI license agreement. Capital improvements is higher due to the COVID capital improvement COVID money that came into capital improvements in 2021. Sales tax was up 13%. Liquor fund sales were up 5.5%. Expenses included the increased contribution to the general fund. Water fund, we had reduced monthly minimum payments, so that's why you see a little decrease in the water fund. The sewer fund, wow, that came off a little bit different there. Sewer fund was reduced. We reduced monthly payments there also. We received grants and reimbursement funds for the treatment plant and continued construction of the treatment plant. Sanitation increased monthly minimums in January, so that's why they increased there. Drier year, the weight of the garbage was lower to Balfouche. Ambulance, we received county tax district funds, increased jail funding, received COVID grant funds. Fort Meade accounts receivable was largely paid off for that. Expenses were higher due to new ambulances. And then I just want to let everybody know I love counting, and that makes people cry. So thank you, and if you have any questions, please stop by my office or give me a call.
Thanks, Faye. Any questions from council for Faye right now? All right, thank you again. Item 6.1 is consideration of the annual report. Included in the packet and on the internet is multiple packets of information that include that. There is action needed by council if we so choose to accept the annual report for the audit is the main purpose there, to be within the minutes.
And it is an unaudited annual report, so.
You have anything else to add, Faye?
Not really. Just to let you know, the easiest one to read would be your 2021 Municipal Gap annual report that is a published one. That basically kind of gives you everything in a more of a easier form, I believe. And so if anybody's interested to look that over and have any questions, please let me know.
When will the audit be done?
The audit we should see, probably have talk with them in July, and it should be ready. This annual report or the audit? The audit. Oh, the 21 audit. Yeah. So then we should have it done by the end of August.
Any other discussion? Public or council concerning the annual report? Is there a motion?
To approve?
We got a first by Becca.
Second.
We got a second by Mike. Any last discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by stating yes.
Yes.
Opposed to no. That motion carries. That is accepted. Item 7 is city manager's report. So Daniel, I'll turn it over to you for quite a long list there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of things. We have some new softball referees. It's that time of year. And so they're going to be paid $30 a game. And then the appointments to the Planning and Zoning Commission, we are delaying 2 weeks so that they'll be appointed at the same time as the other board members for the other various committees that are appointed at the next council meeting. Then I did want to just point out to 2 other activities that are occurring this week. A retirement reception is being held for Jerry Cole, our director of rallying events, this Thursday in this room from 3 to 5. So if you're available, please come and show your appreciation for everything that Jerry has done leading that department. They have increased the number of events substantially, taken over the Camaro rally to ensure that that event continued on here in the community. Music on Main and the off-road rally, several different events, and have led us very well. And so to thank Jerry for his time that began in 2016 with us, in January 2016. And then also Thursday at 4 o'clock, we are celebrating the 30th birthday of the community center. So that's at the community center at 4 o'clock. So Thursday, there's plenty of free food. So stop at the community center first and then go to the stop at City Hall first at 3 o'clock, and then you can go to the community center at 4.
Thanks, Daniel. Any questions from council for Daniel? Item 8 is consent calendar. We have 8-1 through 8-9 tonight. Does council wish to remove any of those items and discuss them individually? How about people in the public? Wish to remove any of those items and discuss them individually?
I move to approve the consent calendar.
Got a first by Kevin. Got a second by Dean. Any last discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by stating yes.
Yes.
Opposed to no. Please note unanimous there, Faye, for roll call. Brings us to approval of the claims for old business, item 9. Questions, comments, concerns from council on the claims? Public questions. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Got a first by Dean.
Second.
Got a second by Angela. We'll go ahead and roll call this since it is claims. Jason, we'll start with you.
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Becca?
Yes.
I'm yes. Kevin?
Yes.
Angela?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Bills are paid. Item 10 is public hearings under old business. This is use on review for 101 David Drive. Mr. Smith's got the staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. The item before you this evening is a conditional use request from Nicole Myros with Infinite Renewal Massage Therapy. She's requesting this conditional use to operate an in-home massage therapy business at 101 David Drive in Sturgis. The zoning on this property is medium density residential. The application had submitted the conditional use application to operate the in-home massage therapy business during normal business hours, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The applicant will schedule up to 4 appointments per day with 1 customer per appointment The anticipated start date is pending the approval of the use on review. I will read into the record the process. This is the process in Title 18, Article 5, Section 2. The following conditions shall be applied. Copies of all South Dakota sales tax returns shall be submitted to the Finance Office. These records shall be retained and considered confidential. No signage on the property, with the exception of the vehicles, shall be visible from a public right-of-way. The actual average daily vehicle count of the subject property shall not exceed 1.25 times the actual annual average daily traffic for the type of subject property. In circumstances where the subject business is of significant importance to the community, the limit may be extended, but shall in no circumstances exceed 3 times the average annual average daily traffic count for the type of the property. The subject property should not create noise beyond times of 7 a.m. through 9 p.m. In addition, the types of sounds or the volumes of those sounds created during these hours should not exceed those typical of a residential neighborhood. No odor beyond that typical of a residential neighborhood shall be permissible. If the business causes an impact to the utility services beyond those typical of a residence, then all utility rates should be charged as a commercial, 2 separate unit charges for all utilities. And the county may assess portions of the property at commercial versus residential rates. All use and reviews shall be applicable for 1 year. At the expiration of 1 year, they will be reviewed again. After considering the conditions above, the staff does not believe the in-home business will impact or negatively affect the neighborhood. The Planning Commission did review the request at the April 5th meeting and unanimously voted to recommend approval. Staff does recommend approval of the request with the condition that the sales tax records are submitted to the Finance Department once they're made available. Are there any questions? And the Myroses are here too if you have any questions for them.
Thanks, Dave. Council have questions for staff or for the applicant?
I've got one question to ask Dave. As far as the sales tax information, what does that do for the city? I mean, why do we ask for that?
It was something that was implemented by a past Planning and Zoning Commission and Council. I can't remember exactly why, but I think they wanted to make sure that that person is collecting and generating the sales tax for the business that they operate.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Public or council?
I would move to approve.
Got a first by Dave,
Second.
second by Kevin. Any last discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by stating yes.
Yes.
Opposed to no. That motion carries. Thanks, Dave. Item 10.2 is consideration to approve a lease with Rumble On. Included in this packet was multiple pieces of information, both the agreement with Mr. Price and then the proposed lease with Rumble On. I think part of the discussion needs to be made apparent that due to state law with the length and the amount of the lease is why a lot of these are being brought forward and put out on the table, I guess, as part of the packet. Mr. Ainsley's got our staff report, so I'll just turn it over to you, Daniel, and we'll go from there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. The city has been leasing the Sampson's Corner property as well as the paved lot that is next to the bowling alley. Both lots are on Lizelle. The city has been leasing those during the rally periods since 2016. In turn, the city then subleases those to various clients during the annual rally. We renewed our lease agreement with Kenny Price earlier this year for both parcels for a term of 10 years. With that, we have been negotiating with Rumble On, who would like to sublease a portion of that property. So the majority of the property that is located on the corner of 6th Street and Lizelle, where the Sampson's Corner building is. So they would be leasing essentially that front parking lot as well as the building itself. They would like to use it as a year-round retail location. And the city has been leasing, or has entered into a lease to lease all of the properties for 10 years at $180,000 a year. Rumble On would be subleasing a portion of that, again, the building portion and a portion of the front parking lot year-round from the city for $190,000 a year. So there is not a net cost to the taxpayers. In fact, it fully covers the entire cost that the city is expending over 10 years. In addition, Rumble On is looking at making a substantial renovation of the building and doing an additional addition. That would not occur until likely this fall, because it will take some time to get the plans completed. But they are hoping to be able to start construction by this fall, so that they would be able to open in their new showroom later this year. But this is another significant step forward in ensuring that large buildings in our community that are vacant are actually fully utilized and occupied throughout the entire year. That it's going to be a significant commercial expansion, generate additional year-round employees, and also bring a new business to our community that can be a part of the community, which Rumble On has been making contributions for several years, but now with them being open year-round, I'm sure their contributions will be increasing as well. With that, I would be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Council discussion or questions for staff at all? Public input on this matter. Questions, comments, concerns? Crickets. Is there a motion?
I will move to approve, but I would just like to say that, to kind of reiterate what the city manager's report was, that this is going to be beneficial for our town. There's 3 reasons. One is that there is no city subsidy for this agreement. It's going to be providing revenue to the city for the next 10 years. And how that translates to us as citizens is that it's going to be helping to continue our decrease in the mill levy. The mill levy has been decreased for the last 7 years. 7 years. You've seen a lowering in that rate. And finally, it's going to help support some of our city's buildings and institutions, such as the library and the community center. And finally, third, and I think it's very important that this is remembered, that a now vacant building will be a year-round business, which is something that we always talk about. It's something that our residents ask for. And so that's now going to be happening. So I just thank you to the city staff and everyone involved in putting this agreement together. I think it's going to be a good benefit for us. And so with that, I make a motion to approve the lease for Rumble On.
We have a first by Becca. Second by Dave. Any further discussion, public or council? Go ahead, Mike.
Does it include all of Kenny Price's properties?
Rumble On's just the building in the front part. Yep.
The reason I say is because, just so the public knows, we also lease 2 other properties from Kenny. The parking lot directly to the east of the building, and a vacant piece of property down by the bowling alley. So it's a significant amount of property that we, the city, have the opportunity to put large super vendors on. Anyway, with that, just information.
Thanks, Mike. We've got a first and a second on the floor. No further discussion. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by stating yes.
Yes.
Opposed to no. That motion carries. Brings us to item 11, which is reports under old business. Subset 1 is consideration to approve a medical cannabis cultivation license for the Crop Shop. Mr. Smith's coming back up. Back to you, Dave.
Thank you. This item before you is a consideration to approve a medical cannabis cultivation license for the Crop Shop LLC located at 2951 Whitewood Service Road. The background information on this: a medical cannabis cultivation application was received by Mike Bark of the Crop Shop LLC for operations at 2951 Whitewood Service Road. The current zoning is general industrial. Per Title 18, Article 11, zoning regulations for cannabis establishments, a cannabis cultivation facility is a permitted use within this district, in which there is no cap of the number of licenses of this type that can be issued. The discussion item, Title 39.1.5 of the City Ordinance provides the regulations for the application of the cannabis establishments. Those requirements include the names of the principal officers, board members, providing a summary of standard operating procedures, confirmation of background checks, copies of sales tax license, proof of property taxes are paid, proof of insurance, and payment of the application fee. The applicants have been provided the information required by the ordinance, with the exception of the insurance for the business of this operation. They can't insure it until they get the license. The applicants intend to provide that proof of insurance specific to this type of operation once and if the application is approved. The standard operating procedures specifically address the business operations. Operations will occur within the existing building at 2951 Whitewood Service Road. The chief of operations is Mr. Bark. Operations will be 24 hours a day, 7 days per week. 12 full-time employees will be on site for 12-hour shifts. There will be no public access nor signage placed on the building. Electronic security measures will be in place for building access and only allowed for employees during their scheduled shifts. The standard operating procedure also outlines workplace safety plans, general safety standards, a security plan, and process for limiting unauthorized persons. A 24/7 security system will be installed. The plans to install a sprinkler system are included in the standard operating procedure. The plans have been reviewed by the fire chief, the police chief, who request a final inspection and walkthrough prior to the commencement of operations. Wastewater and waste management is specifically outlined to comply with the state and federal laws, and will also include an on-site water recycling and purification system to reduce water waste. Plans for outdoor control are also outlined with extra precautions in place, using air scrubbers in each room in addition to the ventilation system. Daily walkthroughs and inspections will be conducted for plant observations and irrigation and ventilation maintenance. The application may be considered with the contingencies on final approval of the security and fire suppression system being installed, as well as any additional standard building code and permitting procedures to be met at the time a building permit application is received for the improvements that will be added to the existing building. The applicants intend to comply with providing any additional information required for typical permitting procedures. The City Council may approve or deny an application in full or on condition. City staff does recommend City Council approve the application on the condition that the outstanding building code and security policies are received and approved at the time a building permit is issued. I do believe that the operations people for the Crop Shop are here. If you have any questions for them.
How about questions for Dave from council at this point? Or for any staff members? I guess I have one for Mr. Marshall. When we did these ordinances and we're learning as we went, this was one where the dispensaries had a lottery system because of the limited number. On the cultivation side, there was not any limits placed by the council when those ordinances were passed. And therefore, there's an unlimited amount. Obviously, council has some control over how many are given out, and I think our town is small enough that doesn't have to be tons of them. But there's no limit by law that we placed upon ourselves, is the question.
That is correct, Mr. Mayor.
And the state doesn't provide any restrictions per population or anything like that.
No, Mr. Mayor.
Other discussion from council? Does that spur anything at all? Questions that come up? Mike or anybody there have anything to add at this point, or? Any questions, let us know. Public input on this old business? No one's very talkative tonight.
Well, and I think too, I mean, I've said it before, but state statute requires that any marijuana be cultivated, manufactured and cultivated in South Dakota. So it shouldn't really be any kind of unexpected surprise or anything that this is, you know, something that is up for our consideration.
I would move to approve.
We have a first by Dave.
Second.
We have a second by Jason. Any last discussion?
Before we vote,
Yep, go ahead, Mike.
there's no limit on the number of licenses. So if we have 15 or 20 grow plants in the state, what happens to the surplus product?
Well, I think the way that it's set up is the fact that each municipality has the right and each county has the right to do so. I think that has to do with the business plan of the operator of where all that goes. But what you're stating is a very real possibility that because of how many between the counties and all the municipalities, there could be quite a few operations throughout our state. So point is well made there.
Just economics.
Yep.
If I may, Council Member Bashand, I think it's just like in the cattle business. When there's an excess of supply, the price you're able to command may well decrease.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall.
Any other discussion? Public or council? We have a first and a second on the floor. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by stating yes.
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 Opposed to no. That motion carries. Yep, and abstention. And I guess to back up, who was the first? It was Dave.
Dave and Jason.
The recommendation is for the conditional permit with the needed insurance and.
Correct.
Yep. Is that your motion?
Yes.
Yep. Jason, is that the way you understood too? Okay. I just wanted for clarity. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. I think I'll just.
Yep, you're up next again. Item 11.2 under reports is voluntary annexation of the Valley View subdivision. This is the Pivot Development Group. Back to you, Dave.
The item in front of you on this is a voluntary annexation of Valley View subdivision from Pivot Development Group. The background information is this. Pivot Development Group, LLC, has submitted a voluntary annexation petition for a portion of the southwest quarter, northwest quarter of Section 5, Township 5 North, Range 5 East, and the Black Hills Meridian, Meade County, South Dakota. More particularly described in the attached exhibit, the subject property is location of a future development project previously proposed by the developer for a purpose of single-family housing. The area shown on the attached encompass is 10.944 acres, property dedicated to the development of 50 lots for single-family residential housing, Phase 1 of the Valley View subdivision. Infrastructure improvements, including streets, sidewalks, sewer, and water, will be at the expense of the developer. However, a formation of a TIF district will be considered in order to help subsidize the infrastructure improvements. If the lots are developed, the city will benefit from the municipal tax and utility revenue that will be generated from the single-family homes. The motion recommendation is a motion to approve the voluntary annexation petition and documentation that is in your packets.
Any questions for Dave from council? Go ahead, Daniel, you got.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, if I could just point out, for anyone that is reading, and this was an item that was brought up by the council president, that it does include in the annexation agreement that there would be a planned unit development. What that means is that's going to be a zoning overlay that would be placed over the zone that would be over the entire area. So at your next council meeting, there's going to be brought before you a request to rezone it. It's going to be requested to be rezoned into a residential zone district. I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly which residential area, but it's going to be requested to be zoned as a residential area with the planned unit development. So all the conditions of the underlying residential area would apply, except for the exceptions that are within the planned unit development. So there will be a couple notable exceptions that would be a part of that. And so just to make sure everyone's aware that that will be discussed at your next council meeting in 2 weeks.
And that'll be specific to the plans of size of roads, all that
Correct.
stuff. Yes.
Yes. The size of the lots and
So
all of those points.
So that will be discussed at the next meeting,
Yes,
even though.
on the 16th.
Okay, because, the title of this is a voluntary development agreement, but there will be further discussion allowed.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So even though we're passing this agreement, which it seems that they are saying what they want their lots to be, this isn't the final.
Correct. The final action of the council will be at your next council meeting when the underlying zoning will be approved by the council, as well as any exceptions, and those exceptions would be the planned unit development.
Okay.
Within the corner that's being annexed. The whole thing.
The whole thing.
Yep.
Yes.
Just a clarification is, I'll make sure I got the right one. It's a voluntary annexation of Valley View subdivision from Pivot Development Group.
Right, but in the title on their amendment, it says voluntary development agreement. So
My
I guess, so maybe my clarification is because it is a PUD and we do approve the agreement, the development agreement for the PUD, maybe I'm, a little unclear.
The state statute authorizes cities to enter into annexation and development agreements. So that's why the title of this is annexation and development agreement of this particular agreement.
Okay.
But the actual terms of the zoning will be approved at your next council meeting.
And the PUD.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
I've got a question. Of course, I had a little extra time this afternoon, so I read the whole thing. And believe me, it's pretty boring. But what I see over the last 3 or 4 developments is a trend where everything has a caveat for storage containers, storage boxes, storage buildings. How many storage units do we need?
What the proposed site plan for this is not actually a separate lot or a separate parcel that would just be filled with storage units, like at Trailhead subdivision. That one had a loop with 23 homes, I believe, and then some additional storage units on a separate lot. That's not what this one will be. What it includes is several apartment buildings, and then within that, those apartment buildings, there would be some garages that would be able to be used for storage. And so it's different than Trailhead. It's not actually going to be a separate lot with a separate business that's for storage units or anything. It's really meant more as an amenity for the individuals that are staying in the apartments. Now, with that being said, that's allowed in the ordinance. The only reason that that's an exception in the planned unit development that you'll consider in 2 weeks is so that if there's an empty garage/storage space that's available, the owners of the apartment complex would be able to lease that out to someone who doesn't necessarily stay in the apartments. So as far as your question about how many storage units we need, I know I actually heard from a resident that was moving here 2 weeks ago that all the storage units were full in Sturgis. So I don't know if they had contacted everyone, but I, gave them a list of all the different ones in our community and said, please contact them. But I know they were a little frustrated that they couldn't find one. So I know it's a high demand. Oh, yeah.
Don't put him on the
Maybe
spot.
not.
I can't speak for Rod, but I can honestly tell you, storage units that my wife owns are full, and we have calls every day. So,
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I have a couple questions, please. So again, just for clarification, if we could go to the agreement number 1 on page 4 under elements, part G. It says the owner shall not be required to obtain any additional authorization from city or the City of Sturgis Common Council in the form of variances, uses permitted upon review, or otherwise for the uses permitted by this agreement. What exactly does that mean? In that, if they're coming back in 2 weeks for us to approve the final development plan for the PUD, does this mean that they don't have to do that? Or I'm just curious, because if we pass this, I just want to make sure specifically I understand what we're kind of signing away or what we're agreeing to. Does that mean that any further uses upon review never has to come back to us? Or, I'm just...
As long as it fits within the PUD.
Correct.
Is what it.
Yes. So what this would state is that there are some instances when a council may authorize a discretionary development agreement stating that it would be available so long as there's enough utility capacity to provide services for that development. That's not the case in Sturgis. We do have enough capacity. So as long as it fits all the parameters of the planned unit development that the council will be considering in 2 weeks, and at that point, they wouldn't have to come back again for any subsequent approvals
or
anything.
Okay. So like any other...
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So right now, the current zoning, there is no current zoning for the one parcel that is just being annexed into the community. So literally no building permit could be issued to them right now because there is no zoning. The other parcel that's already in the city, I believe, is agricultural. So right now, I think in an agricultural zone, 1 house is able to be built, or maybe it's 2. I don't remember. But the subdivision, if you approve this right now, none of the subdivision could be provided a building permit right now. None of that could be done until you pass your planned unit, until you pass the zoning for everything along with the planned unit development.
Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yes, that makes sense. Okay, so again, I know, I'm sorry, I don't want to be like beating the dead horse, but in this agreement, they're stating what the setbacks are going to be, and it's less than what I think that is in Title 18. So are we, again, if we pass this, these will be the dimensions of the lots, or is this just...
This is the starting point. I believe that some of this were maybe what the lot sizes were for the original submittal to the council, but what you will approve as far as lot sizes, street widths, all of that will be included in the planned unit development document, as well as the underlying zoning for that area that you'll consider in 2 weeks.
Okay. All right. So just to make sure that when it comes to Title 18 under Planned Unit Development, page 70 and 71, we are following the administrative procedures, right? With approving, this annexation, and then it goes to the PUD development plan and the platting and all of that kind of, okay.
Correct. And
Right,
so the
thank you.
plating will be coming afterwards, because at this point you can't approve a plat because we're not sure what
Right.
the ultimate parameters are that you're agreeing to yet.
Okay, okay.
If I may, Mr. Mayor,
Please.
part of the background to the president's comments stem from what I would characterize as inartful drafting on my part. The process would have been more clear had I laid out that there are several steps involved in the approval of this development. The first of these steps would be to annex the property that's outside of the city limits. The project as a whole, as I understand it, is contingent upon bringing that property within the boundaries of the city and then following the rest of the statutory requirements. And again, I apologize, Madam President, for the confusion that I caused by my inartful work.
No, that's okay. I appreciate your work on this, and I just wanted to make sure, because we had such a lengthy conversation, I think it was 2 months ago, in regards to this, that, just all of my questions and lack of understanding was they were being answered. And so thank you. No, it's been very helpful, so I appreciate it. That's all I have.
Any other discussion, council or public?
Dave, when you said recommended, you mean by planning and zoning?
By planning and zoning and staff. Okay.
Deb, you had something? No.
How is this different than what you did last time?
Well, yeah, so for the process, it has to be a resolution and then the actual annexation. It's a two-step process. Correct. This is the actual annexation. Procedures. Any other discussion? Don't think we've had any motions yet. If anybody's willing, unless we want to talk more about it.
I'll move to approve.
First by Jason to approve the voluntary annexation.
Second.
Second by Mike. Any last discussion, public or council? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by stating yes.
Yes.
Opposed to no. That motion carries. Item 12 is a motion to adjourn from this 2021-2022 council. Sine die. Is there a motion to adjourn this council?
So moved.
We got a first by Mike.
Second.
Second by Angela. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by stating yes.
Yes.
Opposed to no. 2021-2022 council is closed. Well, we have some cookies and a...
One second.
Yep, go ahead.
I would like to say a little something.
Well, we're going to have you talk. That's exactly right. We're going to have a small break here. We'll let Jason and Dave speak if they so desire as we transfer out here.
Well, it's been quite a ride. 9 years, and I never would have thought that I would have been on the council for this long, but I have truly enjoyed it, and I am a proud member of the council and member of this community. I have gained a lot more respect for the city and stepping up and doing this. Some of you may not know, but I was 29 years old when I stepped on this council, and if I could have Lola step up and Chris, please. Come here.
They don't even sit together.
So she was 3 years old when I got on here, and Chris was 11 and a half months old. So, and I'm very proud. Chris knows nothing but when I get cleaned up after work and leave on a Monday night, he asks, "Are you going to a council meeting?" And yes. So I'm looking forward to not having to do that, and I will be missing that. And I want to appreciate and tell everybody thank you that has stood behind me throughout this journey, and I will miss it, I guess. And I want to also say thank you to Dave Smith. He was the guy that pushed me across that threshold to say, hey, we need somebody in Ward 3 to run. And I was scared, didn't want to do it. And Dave said, you can do this. And he said, I have faith in you. And there's a lot of people in the community that have backed me up and made me, I guess, a better person for my community. So, and I want to say thank you for everybody that has supported, and I appreciate the whole thing. Thank you.
Well, like Jason, I started. It was 6 years ago, and I was also 29 at the time. No, I guess I wasn't. But it's been very interesting. It's been very rewarding. I've learned a great deal from it, and I have the utmost respect for the people that are on the council and for our mayor, who has done an incredibly good job, and also for our entire staff. And I think we have just a great city manager with Daniel Ainsley. There's no question about it. And yeah, and I learned a lot. I was telling the Rally and Events Committee the other day when I was actually first on council, and they were making the department choosing where you were going to be. And they were like, okay, you're going to be on Rally and Events. And right away I was like, I don't even ride a motorcycle, and I know absolutely nothing about rally and events. But I was put on rally and events, and I ended up being on that committee for all 6 years, and I really enjoyed it. I really learned a lot from it, and hopefully I brought something to it that was somewhat of a positive nature. But I've really enjoyed being on the council. I will miss it, and who knows, I might come back sometime. And I'm very happy that Tony Dargitz, who was on the council before, is going to be taking my seat, and I'm sure he'll do a great job. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Dave. We'll take a small break here. We got a few cookies for some blood sugar. We got some handouts for Dave and Jason here. So, yep.
Oh.
I can spill my water on it. You can rub it off on your pant leg.
You bet.
Hey, Lance. How you doing?
It's a possibility. Thank you for
Supercross race. Mile High Stadium this weekend.
But enjoy some additional. Oh yeah, they're in the race.
I'm gonna come in the morning.
Yeah, okay. I believe how fast time goes by.
You you've aged a little better than Dave
Oh, you'll be bring up a cup like a kid last time. That'll probably be the out of Yeah, exactly.
9 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, never get to maybe I'll run for something.
Enjoy a couple months.
Well, hopefully more than a couple months.
He's got kids, pocket full.
You know, the cities are really good. Specifically after the election and how that turned out.
We have a tremendous number of
I'll move out to the civilian, section here. Hang for a little while. People get re-inaugurated or inaugurated.
Stay in the back and throw some stuff.
Stick around.
I'm glad your kids are here.
So,
Nice working with you.
been a pleasure.
Oh, it's been wonderful working.
Thanks for everything you did.
I so enjoyed working. You guys are doing a phenomenal.
By the way, good question.
Thanks to your help.
Yeah.
That was fun. It was fun.
So now that we have this new fancy scene.
Have you started a dog sitting service?
I've done.
We gotta get out.
Keep at it.
You too. Keep doing what you're doing for the community. Just not sitting on the seat, but.
Go Brandon.
Did you do planning?
Oh, yeah. I did. From the get-go, I did it.
His coat on.
Yeah, it's, with all the like, he's gone.
So, multiple nights. Right, right.
I'd say maybe I'd see it around town, but I don't have kids and I never see it around town anymore.
Yeah, that's like we always run into each other around town. Say hi.
You always say that. Who are you?
I'll do lunch sometime. I don't want any association. Yeah.
His sign, you took his sign?
Oh yeah, I thought I saw something in the paper.
Hey, Rick.
trying to encourage them. They're old or what?
Okay.
We're gonna get them all. All right. We just try to encourage. Like I said, you never can tell.
I think that needs
Yeah, it was this morning. She went and had a CAT scan of the lungs. See where that's at. No, it'll be just a day or two. And then she's going to a pulmonologist next week. Yeah, she finally made the move. She's just been sitting in the house like, oh, things aren't going pretty good, but they're not going pretty good. Go back to doctor and see what's going on. No, it's coming that way. So she has
That way, if you were hunting me, you wouldn't be easy to pattern. You know, it's somewhere else. Oh.
I'll have a couple lessons this summer, and that's
So I just wanted to say thank you.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that. No doubt about it.
So I'm always free.
Okay. Bring it back. I believe you. I tried working, working this together. All right. I'll get on the way.
What's that? I try not to.
I'll save that. Well, and I don't think I've never caught any use that they got to turn in sales tax data. I mean, I think something being in good standing, right? But why do you got to turn in Secretary's data? It's probably just to make sure that you're paying, but nonetheless, it's in the
Government overreach could easily be construed.
right. Well, and it's the same thing. I mean, the only reason I was thinking about it is they overshared with me that I shared it with finances. There's existing businesses that would take that loan, but will not because of the parameters.
Which makes a lot of sense.
He buys these sodas that are in them.
They just give them to us. They're part of our sponsorship. They always help beat up and stuff. Okay. I think it's.
I don't feel that.
That's why I don't go back to that. I think they're free.
Okay. I do. Till you know different. You'd probably know.
Till I'm told different. But I think it's part of. They give us a bunch of in-kind stuff. Part of it is we take it year round and we take some of the stuff they can't sell.
What's the name of that? Nettie, the rally sponsorship deal. Montoya, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's his first name? Yeah, his kids. His
Ron. No.
Ron?
I can't. I think it's Ron. He's been around a long time.
Yeah. He was a nice guy.
Yep. Well, we got everybody here. Tony's up here. Well, it's 7:51, and I'll call this new session of Council 2022-2023 Council to order. First item is the reading of the oaths for our new council members. So, Mr. Marshall, I'll turn it over to you, sir. Faye will get you some portable microphone, I better. Oaths and a portable microphone, it looks like.
Mr. Mayor, how would you like me?
Let's
to
come up here
handle
in
this?
front and have them stand in front. And Deb has made her requests. Come on, Tony. Both of you going up at one. We're going together. All of us, all 5 of us. We're all oathed in. Here we go.
Like that?
I'll get over here. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. I am Mark Marshall, your city attorney, and I'd like to offer this observation before I administer the oath. I am a great movie fan, and I recall the movie in which a group was sworn in, and the one who gave the oath said, "I say your name." I'm not asking you to repeat, "say your name." I'm asking you to say your given name and identify yourselves by the ward from which you've been elected. With no further ado, I say your name. Having been elected to the office of mayor or alderperson from ward, within and for the city of Sturgis, do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution and codified laws of the state of South Dakota, and the ordinances of the city of Sturgis. I will faithfully and impartially, to the best of my knowledge and ability, perform all the duties of that office for the city of Sturgis. Your oaths of office are here on the table. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you to execute those this evening.
Yeah, just go ahead.
More papers is what we need.
This conflict of interest shows up again. All you have to do is fill out the top of your name, and then if there's been no changes since you filled it out in January or in February, just no change. That's all you need to do and get it back.
So now we're doing them twice.
You get them twice. Don't ask me why.
More paper.
It's about the silliest thing in the world, but
I'm sure glad I went online and paid.
yeah, just fill in this top part. Don't leave anything down here unless something has changed. Just mark that. You still got the,
And these we can just bring back to you, Faye, right?
Pardon?
Bring them back tomorrow or the next day or whatever.
That'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you've got like 15 days to get it back to me. Oh, okay.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Marshall. Thanks, Faye. Item 13.3 is election of council president. I would open the floor for nominations for council president.
Mayor, I'd nominate Kevin Forrester.
Got a first by Mike for Kevin. We have a second by Becca. Any other nominations for the office of council president? Nominations have ceased. We'll go ahead and we don't need to do a vote there since there's only one nomination. So congratulations, Kevin, from vice president to president. Item 13.4 is election of council vice president. There's nominations for the office of vice president.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to nominate Mike Bichond for the office of vice president.
We have a first by Becca for Mike.
Second.
We have a second by Angela. Any other nominations for the office of vice president? None being heard. Nominations ceased. No need for a vote. We have our vice president and president for the new council. Item 14 is consider consent calendar of new business. We have 14.1 through 14.5. Does council wish to remove any of those items and discuss them individually from the consent calendar? How about anybody in the public wish to remove any items from the consent calendar for individual discussion? None being heard, is there a motion?
So moved.
We have a first by Angela.
Second.
We have a second by Dean. No need for last discussion because they're all included. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by stating yes.
Yes.
Opposed to no. That motion carries unanimously. The consent calendar passes. For roll call, please, Faye. Brings us to item 15, which is other matters before the council. Place where there's opportunity for the public and the council to speak of non-agenda items. I'll turn it over to you, bud.
Got it. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Eric Davis. I'm a resident of Ward 2. I came tonight to ask you all, the mayors and the city council, if you would just be willing to let this community have an election on the question of the city manager form of government. I know that the position coming out of this body right now is that staff is to take the steps that are necessary to prevent the citizens from voting on this question, and I am just here to respectfully ask you to reconsider that position. You can have this election, and it's my opinion that you should. I've emailed you all a link to a very brief new episode of the Sturgis Kitchen Table that we've put together, where we kind of put together our arguments on this case, and if you'd like to listen to it, I'd invite you to. But this is your prerogative. Whether you would allow the citizens to vote on this question as you did in 2007 is a decision that is up to you all, and I think there's a few different ways that we could bring that about, and the details of that are complicated and there are many, but one suggestion that I would have is maybe this body would be interested in asking its legal staff to prepare a memo that could detail all the conceivable ways that the citizens could vote on this issue instead of all the ways that we couldn't. And maybe we could evaluate those. Maybe the council would be willing to make that memo a public and waive the privilege, put it in the next council packet, and I'll be here at the next meeting, and I hope to, if you'd be willing to put it on the agenda, to have a discussion with you about that. But that would be a really, I think, excellent thing to move this community forward. And this is a question that people have been talking about, and I think it is best to just have the voters resolve it. So I'll be anxious to hear your response to this. I'm open to conversations. I read Ms. Zerbst's thing in the newsletter. I'm happy to contact you. You all have my contact information. So I hope you'll give that fair consideration and let the people vote on that question. Congratulations to all of you who were just elected and to your new positions in this. Thank you all for your service to the community. Very grateful. And look forward to speaking with you on this issue. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Eric. Amanda's coming forward.
I just have a comment on something that I observed this evening. And through the council action tonight, you approved 3 different new businesses via 3 different forms. And through those 3 new businesses coming to our community, I noted that that's going to create between 20 and 25 jobs. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for doing what you can to help us grow our business community. And all 3 of these businesses are in different industries, and so we're creating diversity. So I just wanted to point that out and say thank you for your help in that, because we all need to do what we can to continue to grow our business community in Sturgis. So.
Thanks, Amanda.
I'd like to comment.
Go ahead.
Amanda, I appreciate that because I didn't think about it the way you did. And that is a whole different perspective. Thank you.
Any other matters, council or public?
I would just like to take a quick minute just to thank those people that were willing to throw their names in the hat for this, whether it be for the first time or for another term, and for those people that have served more than this new one, the previous one, or the previous one before that, or whatever number you're up to, Mark. It's not easy, and I feel we probably all get these questions a lot, and I know that there's people that are under a lot more stress than I am in this position, and it's not easy, but especially when you come into it maybe not knowing what's going to happen and still have the willingness to do it. I thank those of you that are willing to be here.
Thanks, Dean. Anything else? Nothing from the new council members? Welcome aboard for sure. We do have a necessity for executive session. Obviously, the way the agenda is written and set up, no anticipated action afterwards, but anything to add, Mr. Marshall? Nothing, Mr. Mayor. Is there a motion for exec?
So moved.
Got a first by Dean.
Second.
Second by Kevin. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by stating yes.
Yes.
Opposed to no. It's 8:05. We'll start exec at 8:10. We got 5 minutes. 2 breaks. And 1 minute.